Hi, everyone. I'm James Garbett.
And I'm Denny Dumas.
And this is the Garbett Dumas Real Estate Podcast.
Monica. That's where you say Denny.
Oh, Denny.
The real estate board. I don't even, who puts these forms together? The real estate,
let's committee.
Go with, the forms committee has done it again. It seems like every single year in Greater Vancouver, there are, let me rephrase. At the beginning of my career, 9.5 years ago, it seemed like every 2 to 3 years, there would be a new form. In the last 3 years, seems like there is a new form every 3 to 6 months. And it just seems like keeps getting greater and greater. When we are in our 50s, which is like what, 42 years away?
Obviously.
To buy and sell real estate will probably be hilariously complicated. Right now, when you are listing a property for sale, there are 8 or 9 different documents that you're going through with a seller. When you're writing an offer, there's probably more than that. And they've added another one. So we just want to explain to people what it is, why it was brought in, and our thoughts on whether or not it's going to be useful or not. So the form is called Disclosure of Multiple Offers Presented.
So this form is another form for the listing agent to fill out, and it has to be filled in for every offer that you receive. So you have to put in the real estate brokerage that the buyers are with and the date of the offer. It's a pretty simple form to fill out, to be honest. It's just, I don't see the value in it really, because you don't have to provide this form until after the dust has settled on the offers. You do have to provide it within 24 hours, but you're not providing it to the interested parties during the multiple offer, during the time frame of the multiple offers being presented. You are giving it to the seller, but the seller is receiving the offers and can see on the offers who is writing it and from what brokerage they are. And I don't know if that form creates any bias with the seller in terms of what brokerage they may want to trust and which one they may not want to trust. I really don't know. But we, at any rate, we provide the offers. Then we provide the form that we've talked about in the past where we disclose the remuneration that each offer will entail. And then now we're also disclosing the brokerages that are offering in a separate form. All of this information, by the way, can be found on the offer itself.
Correct. I heard something a while ago that helped me understand new rules, new paperwork, new laws. And they said, remember that laws are brought in for the 0.0001% of the population. Most people are not going around hitting people with swords and, killing people. But there is a law that says you can't murder someone. Same thing in real estate. Like when we see a form like this, I immediately think, well, I've never lied to another realtor and said, hey, we have 22 offers when really we have one. Like this just seems like a pointless piece of paperwork that is adding time to our day. And, instead of 92 pieces of paperwork, now we're doing 93, and it's getting out of control. But we have to understand that there are bad people in any industry. There are bad contractors. There are bad people in banking that don't always have the consumer's best interest in mind. And there are bad people in real estate, and we've dealt with some of them.
Oh, yeah.
And so there are definitely times where your intuition is going off a little bit and thinking like, wasn't that busy this weekend. They say they have 7 offers in hand already. That doesn't really seem logical. So as a buyer's agent, you're asking a lot of qualifying questions to a listing agent to really dig into, do they have 7 offers or not? And this form is just maybe one extra step of protection, or one extra step that will make a bad person in an industry think about whether or not they want to be unethical. And again, I think it's like a super small percentage. Most people you work with are like really good to work with and really honest. And, they'll say things like, we had a really busy weekend. I thought we were going to get like 6 or 7 offers, but we've got 2. Or, and those are pretty easily believable statements when you are in conversations with listing agents. But at the end of the day, to me, this form only provides the brokerage's the brokerage name. So it's not going to say Monica Harms wrote an email or wrote an offer. It's going to say Oakwyn Realty wrote an offer. Is there any way that a buyer's agent, if they believe the listing agent to be unethical, is there any extra step that this form is in now that they can go back and like call people and be like, hey, did you actually write an offer? It felt like the listing agent was lying to me. No, because it's unpractical to call Oakwyn and be like, hey, one of your 1,500 realtors wrote an offer. Do you know who it is?
Right. So I'm all for anything that adds an extra layer of trust in the real estate industry. I have absolutely no problem filling out this form. It's easy. Sure, I'll fill it out. Doesn't bother me one bit. I don't love all the paperwork, but I'll do it to add another layer of consumer trust. Totally fine. But this does not solve the problem at all. Something that was already in place that does solve the problem is realtors have to keep the offers that they're given for their listings for a certain amount of time. And then if a buyer's agent feels that a listing agent has been untruthful about the amount of offers that they've received, they can call the listing agent's brokerage anytime they want for the next few years and ask the brokerage to contact that realtor and provide the offers that they say that they received. This is something that has been an active component of our industry for a very long time. I've been called and asked for offers to be provided before, and I've provided them because a buyer's agent, well, I think it was probably the buyers, were feeling that they got gypped in some way. So I had to provide the offers, which I had. And they went back to the buyer's agent and said, well, she's said she had these offers and here they are. Do you have any other questions? And they're like, nope. And that's it. And that was the buyer's agent doing her due diligence to make sure that her buyers were treated fairly in that situation. And they were. And so this is a process that was already a component of our industry. I don't think that having a list of the names adds any extra layer of anything more than the listing agent themselves having to keep these offers, which we were already doing.
Is it step 1 of multiple layers of more disclosure?
I'm guessing, yes, it has to be. It has to be because just like you said, just listing the brokerage that doesn't offer any extra layer of truthfulness or transparency. It's just like listing some brokerages and the date. And unless the buyer's agent is going to call the listing agent and ask for the offers, like that's really the only way to ensure the other thing that's nice about the form, I'll say, that does add a layer of trust is we provide this to the seller and the seller has to sign it. So if we say that there's 5 offers and the brokerage is listed on there with the date, we have to provide that to our seller and our seller has to sign it. So I guess having a third party sign it may give the feeling of more truthfulness.
We will see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know there's some countries around the world that have like, or is it Toronto? I think Toronto might have a multiple offer registry.
They do, yeah. They do in Ontario, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what information is provided in there, but something like that online rather than like another piece of physical paper seems silly. But
yeah, again, I'm all for anything that adds consumer trust because like you said at the beginning of this podcast, we work with some really, really amazing realtors that are honest, that do such a great job, that like we love working. There's so many really, really good realtors out there. Most, there's like really awesome realtors out there. And there's just the few, the 0.25%. And that's who these forms are for. Yeah.
Look forward to the next new form podcast, likely scheduled in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. You know what's funny is they don't just have new forms every few months. They also change the forms. So the forms that we already have, they make subtle little changes. And I have been bamboozled by these changes recently because my brain is so used to doing things one way. And they've just there's one form where they made a really subtle change. They just switched the buyer's and the seller's initials to different sides of the page. So I'm just used to like throwing them in on one side over and over again. And then they just like switched them.
What form was that?
The PDS.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the property disclosure statement, the seller's initials switch sides. And I was like, great, thanks, everyone. I'm just so used to throwing them in on this side. And on the contract to purchase and sale, the seller's signatures are still on the same side. So you know how you go through and you just put everybody's initials like on the same side, boom, boom, boom. Well, then you get to the PDS and it's like, it's on the other side. And you got to go back to the other side. It's just stupid.